Hi Leo, welcome. We are looking at July 2018 and what we have going on, the overarching themes. We have Jupiter going direct. We have some eclipses that continue a story that began late January, February, and early March. There were several events that happened for all of us then, each looking very different for each individual, but there was a timing issue at that point in time. And as we get into the eclipses in July and the middle of August, we'll have kind of a bookend or bracketing effect where this one story or set of stories that was playing out over that time frame come to a type of fruition. They get resolved, or it's clear that something new is needed. So you'll see some themes playing out and some stories kind of arcing and then coming into kind of a conclusion stage. That doesn't, like, for example, for you, let's say it had to do with maybe your relationship or partnerships. There was something that started at that time that concludes or comes to fruition or winds down in July, or you walk through a new doorway and start something new because that phase is over. It doesn't mean that your partnership ends, whether it's work or love. It just means that some phase you were in for 6 months, 7 months, has happened already, and you're on to a new chapter in this partnership. So that's one possibility. Another has to do with health. So maybe a health theme that has been going on for you since, and this could be in the area of health. Often what I find is it's not only your health, but it's the health of people close to you, like children or spouses, maybe parents in some cases. So it could be a child's health over the first half of the year was of concern, and as of the end of July and maybe into August, you find some resolution, you set off on a new path, and there's a little bit of closure somehow. Maybe you figure out the diagnosis, maybe you figure out what worked in your diet, maybe you found the right doctor. I don't know what it is, but something to do with the health of you, and or, so it could be both your health and somebody close to you. You'll find this story arc that happens in those first 7 months of the year, maybe into August too. But that doesn't mean that all health issues are closed out forever. It doesn't mean that storyline of health doesn't continue, but a certain phase of it has ended as of sometime in July, and maybe into August. Whatever started toward the beginning of the year that phase starts to end, and then you enter a new phase as you move forward into the last part of 2018. So there's some beautiful grand trines going on in this month, and Jupiter will go direct. So with Jupiter direct, there could be whereas you may have been going back and forth around some decisions to do with the home, where to live, whether or not to work at home, what to do about an aging parent, who should live with you, who do you want to live with, who should you not live with. You may have been going back and forth and had some lack of clarity. And as of July, you begin to get a better sense of how you want to proceed with issues to do with the home and maybe parents. Maybe you didn't want to hang out with family so much over the first part of the year, and maybe as of July you feel a little more energy, like you can apply some of your energy to spending time with family. Sometimes we just have other things we're doing. We're busy, we need rest. So there may be certain family relationships you want to work on, and you have the energy to do it. You can do it more willingly after Jupiter goes direct in July. You may feel that. And it's just easier. It's psychologically, energetically easier to deal with maybe certain family members. It's also a time in July when a lot of things click for you psychologically, where things like all the dots connect. And it's a particularly nice time psychologically for you. So if you have been going into therapy, or a family member's been in therapy or needed help psychologically, you start to see, I think in July and August, you really start to see some positive results, or have some hope around what could be done. And it's not just psychological health, it might be physical health, but I think a lot of things come together in January and it just feels good. There may be, some of you may be buying or selling real estate or moving. Did I already say that? And that may feel quite nice. The other trine is hitting the area of work. So the area of work is lit up for the Leos, and you have Venus coming into your second house, which can show more money coming in, more opportunity, maybe a person coming in who's pleasant to work with or helpful in some way. And this helps soften and work with some of that Saturn energy that's been in your sixth house. A lot of you have taken on positions of where you have more authority, and Venus comes in, and maybe you're really, if you started a new position, Venus comes in, and I think you start to get the hang of it. Maybe if it's commission based or bonus based, you get a bonus or a commission or the promise of something coming in. But career wise, there's some really nice things happening in July and into August. So a lot of you, it's a new direction in career. And so I think there's even some money goodness coming in July. Again, it may not show up exactly like that for all of you, but try to feel around in your life for that Venus. What is playing the Venus role? Is it a new person? Do you have a crush on someone at work? Is there the opportunity to make more money? Did you get pulled into a really promising project? You know, what happens? What's filling the shoes of Venus in this case? Kind of feel around for it. It may not show up, like somebody may not come up with a big bag of money and drop it in your lap, but be on the lookout. You may also find you want to spend on something to do with your health. You may want to spend more money toward your health as it relates to your image or your career. So I would think in particular, if your career has to do with health, that you're spending money maybe on your own health so that you can practice what you're preaching, or if you have a business that has to do with health, you could be just putting some money into it, but the money is there. It's not like the money isn't there to put into it. So some of you might find you're spending on your business, but it's there and available to you. You are very publicly, visibly changing roles, and it has to do with having this higher level of authority and ability. So enjoy that, know that that's there, feel a sense of accomplishment there, and try to step into it and wear it, with pride, whatever it is, your new role. Feel that you've deserved it. And I know a lot of women have this, most men would be like, what's imposter syndrome? But a lot of women out there have this thing called imposter syndrome, where everyone else thinks they're excellent at what they do, but the woman may still feel like maybe she doesn't quite deserve to be there. And it's a very female thing. Very few men have this. It's not your fault, man. You shouldn't have it. I don't wish it on you. But women, because aren't you, if you're a man watching, aren't you like, what's imposter syndrome? But women out there are like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Try to own, your brilliance and how great you are at whatever it is you're doing. All right, take care.